Sure. All right, welcome everybody. Today is Matt Wise introductory press conference for Samford Women's Basketball. Getting started, we will have the invocation by Alyssa Tarpley, a senior here and a biology major.
If you all bow your heads with me to pray. God, thank you for giving us this opportunity to gather here together today. We come in excitement to celebrate this new journey that we're about to go on together. Thank you for providing us Samford University and all the opportunities that come with it, the community that's been fostered, and the love and support that we experience each and every day. I ask that you place a hand on us and you guide us in this program and Coach Matt as we go through this together. And I pray that we can continue to glorify you and all that you stand for in everything that we do and as we continue to represent this university. So it's in your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Tarp. Well, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here this morning. It's good to see all of you. Thanks for being here. On behalf of our trustees and all of our students, faculty, and staff here at Samford, and Bulldog fans all over the world, we are grateful to be here today to introduce our new women's basketball coach, Matt Wise. It's a great day in the life of Samford University and certainly a great day in our storied women's basketball program. Matt and his family, as you all know, are already bona fide members of the Samford family. But obviously we're welcoming Matt to his new role and we're very excited about that. But today we're grateful to have Katie, his wife, with us. It's good to see you. And future Bulldogs, Addie and Jack, are here as well. It's wonderful that you all are here to celebrate with your dad. Let's give them a round of applause as well. Well, I hope all of you know that Samford University is a place that pursues excellence in everything that we do. Incredible academic programs that prepare our students for a life of meaning and service and vocation. A first-rate residential undergraduate program with dozens of academic homes for our schools, 10 academic schools. Faculty and staff members who frankly are the best at what they do and could be serving at any university in the world, but choose to come to Samford to serve our Christ-centered educational mission. And Coach Wise already knows this, but we have the best students in the country as well. Nowhere is Samford's commitment to excellence more on display, in my opinion, than here in our athletics program. We love our Bulldogs at Samford, and we know that athletics plays a central role in exposing people all over the world to what's happening here in Homewood and at Samford. Fidelitas, our strategic plan for the university, places athletic success among our highest institutional goals, and we're proud of that. At Samford, we aren't afraid to say in the same breath that we're simultaneously committed to strong academics within a Christ-centered culture and that we want to win. We want to put our athletic teams, our coaches, and our student athletes in position for success at the highest levels. Our student athletes compete extraordinarily well in the Southern Conference, as you all know, winning 85 now conference championships since joining in 2008, the highest number of any program in the conference. Our student athletes also compete in the classroom, and we're very proud of this, especially in today's changing world of college athletics. And this year, Samford was ranked second among all NCAA Division I programs for our student athletes' 98% graduation success rate. So today we celebrate the next exciting chapter in our women's basketball program. Coach Wise, we are excited about your leadership. We're excited about the ways in which you already embrace the mission of Samford University, your enthusiasm for what we have built in our building here at Samford, and of course the ways that you will not only positively impact the university, but also the ways you will positively impact the lives of the players and coaches in your program. There's an old saying in athletics that I mentioned last week as well: coaches win games and administrations win championships. And at Samford, we have the best athletic director in the country. Please welcome to the podium Samford's AD, Martin Newton.
Well, that statement never gets old. I told the executive leadership team this morning that I was having to head out to go do another press conference. But I also told Dr. Taylor that I hope this is the last one that I have to do for a while. They're a lot of fun, and we're excited, Matt. But if we don't have to do another coaching search for a while, I would be just fine with that. We didn't have to go far for this search. Michelle Durbin called me, I guess what, Michelle, April 13th? Where's Michelle, by the way? Want to recognize Michelle. Michelle, stand up, please. Thanks, Michelle. Michelle's our senior women's administrator, and she called me about April 13th. She said, I've got some news for you. And I was hoping that it wasn't bad news, but anytime your senior women's administrator calls you, it's normally not something that's real glowing. So she said, our coach, Coach Kuhns, is going to interview for a job at a Power 4 school. And there's probably a pretty good chance that she's leaving. My first thought was, dadgummit, we got to go hire another coach. But my second thought immediately went, and I actually voiced this to Michelle. I said, you think Matt Wise is ready to move from associate head coach to head coach? And didn't hesitate. And so we said, okay, well, let's see how this thing plays out. So then fast forward a couple days later, and Carly does get the job. And about 15 minutes after that, I called Michelle and I said, hey, have Matt come up and visit with us. No warning, just hey, have him come up and visit. I'd like to sit down and visit with him a little bit. I've had the privilege of knowing Matt the last couple of years. Actually, our families go way back. Katie, Jack, I know who you're named after. Your great-grandfather was a really good friend of my dad, so I knew your grandfather and your great-grandfather. So our families go way back. So I knew Matt. I knew the type of man he was. I knew the character that he had. But I just wanted to kind of get a feel for him as, okay, you're transitioning those, they say the hardest 18 inches in sport is from the assistant coach's chair to the head coach's chair. I just want to kind of get a feel for how he would react on such short notice. About an hour and 15 minutes later, he leaves the office, and Michelle and I looked at each other and was like, wow, we got our guy. No hesitation. We knew exactly that he was right. You see, Matt has been groomed for this since he's been about 2 years old. His mom, Mary Wise, was one of the preeminent volleyball coaches in the country at the University of Florida, 34 seasons, 19 championships. He grew up with coaching. He knows what coaching looks like. In fact, I spoke to some people about him, including your father, and one of the comments he made, he said he's had a whistle in his mouth since he was 5 years old. He's been a head coach since he was 5 years old. So he's been prepping for this his whole life. And I can't tell you how excited I am for our female student athletes, our basketball players, that you get to continue your journey with a man of such high character and faith and somebody that can really coach the game of basketball. So at this time, would you please welcome our fourth head coach, Dr. Taylor and I, Matt Wise.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you very much for being here. I do have a lot of thank yous to get through, so as our current team knows, I can speak with the best of them, so y'all be patient with me. Let me start by saying thank you to Dr. Taylor. Obviously, thank you for the opportunity, but as many times as I've heard Martin, I've heard the coaches, I've heard other people on campus talk about having a unique president that invests in college athletics, I don't think you can be told that enough and how appreciated that is. And if you ever want to see the quality of his work, just look at the Peloton room in the rec facility that I love going to every week. Martin, also thank you. One of the things that I think is really unique about this situation with you and I, relationship-wise, is I feel like I'm going into this shoulder to shoulder with the same vision. And that's the way I always hoped it would be. That's how it feels. I'm excited about it. And thank you for that. Michelle, thank you for your support and your guidance. If you ask anybody in the entire athletic department, but especially any of the women's teams, everybody would say that they couldn't do this without you. So thank you. A few more thank yous to go. Katie, for those of you that don't know, is Teacher of the Year this past year at Trace Crossings Elementary. Katie, thank you for your love and support on this journey. That's been crazy. Thank you for helping to raise two amazing kids. And thank you for your unwavering support that it'll all work out. Jack and Addie, I love you guys more than you'll ever know. To my parents, who Martin brought up, they're not here today. They're watching across the pond in London as they start on a vacation to Europe. So thank you for the support. But they were here this past weekend. They were here this past weekend when I accepted the job, which was a pretty cool God wink for them to be here and support. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your love. And thank you, frankly, for raising me in a gym. All of that is greatly appreciated. To the coaches and mentors that I've learned from along the way, thank you for the role you have played in this story. To Coach Carly Coons, thank you for what you have built. Thank you for what you accomplished. Thank you for your mentorship, your support, and more than any of that, thank you for your friendship. To our current staff, thank you all for hitting the ground running. Thank you for being in line with the vision of where we want to move this thing forward to. And to our current players, who we had over for dinner last night at the house, playing games with the kids, thank you for choosing. You had to choose Samford again. You had to choose this staff, and you had to choose to get on this train that's moving forward. Thank you all for doing that. Okay, before we move to forward, I do want to quickly hit a little bit of the background so y'all can know me and where I come from and why I am the way I am. Yes, I did start coaching at the age of 2. That is correct. My daycare teacher actually called my parents and said, "You're going to have to talk to Matt. He's putting the other kids through drills at recess. We need him to stop." Growing up in a family of coaches, we had countless conversations around the dinner table that I don't think are common. Most people, what are you looking forward to that week? What's the movie you watch? Ours was, how are you disciplining that player that messed up? What's the practice plan for tomorrow? Who has the best defense in the SEC and why? Those were our discussions. So as I moved on, and I knew I wanted to go into coaching after my playing career, is what I always wanted. I didn't really care where I started. I didn't care men's, women's. I didn't care college, high school, pro. I just knew I wanted to coach. Well, I was fortunate enough to get my first opportunity to be a grad assistant at the University of Florida on the men's side for Billy Donovan. It's unbelievable 2 years of education, experience. I wiped up a lot of sweat, and I learned an awful lot. After 2 years, we got a phone call to come out and join Larry Scheidt's staff in Laramie, Wyoming. At the time, I was 9 days from proposing to Katie. I told her we were moving to Laramie, Wyoming. She said, "No, we're not." We talked her off the ledge. We got out there. We lived there for 5 years. Got a chance to go away for a year to Little Rock, and then ended up going back to Wyoming for a year. So 6 out of 7 years, both our kids were born there. Kick-started this journey. After that, we went to Johnson City, Tennessee for a year, worked at ETSU. And after going through COVID, like we all did, it was a chance to reset, reestablish, rethink about the values in coaching, what I want out of it, explore your why. And in that process, I talked to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of different coaches from across the country, and there was almost a unanimous sentiment of, "Matt, you are so relationally driven. You're good at this thing, but you care about the relationships as much as you care about the winning. Why are you coaching men and why are you not coaching women right now?" And, I was raised around 18 to 22-year-old women, so it wasn't a big deal to me to transition. And so I did. I jumped at the opportunity. I got to go join Christy Curry's staff at Alabama for a year to test it out. And it taught me that it was exactly where I needed to be. And after a year, she came into my office and she said, "I got bad news. You're going to be leaving us." I said, "I'm sorry, what?" And she said, "You're going to go join Carly Coon's staff at Samford." She wanted me to move on, be an assistant, and get that opportunity. And thankful she did that. After 3 years at Samford, though, I want to tell you all why Samford for me. I was a Division III athlete. I got to experience a high-level college education and a college experience. And you can't get that everywhere along with the athletics, and you can at Samford. I've gotten to be a part of championship teams everywhere I've been. And 85, right? Championships, that would include the men's tennis one we just got? Okay. Just making sure, because, man, this place is all about it.
He said 86 is expected
Sorry.
to
Deal. I've been a manager. I've been a video coordinator. I've been a director of ops, director of player development, assistant coach. I've been a part of really hard work everywhere I've gone. And Samford, to me, nobody here is scared of a little hard work. And then lastly is how faith-driven this place is. Obviously, we've been very grateful to God in our journey and in the good times, but we've had some rough times in the path as well, and we've had to really, really lean on our faith together. And so I believe in this theory. It's not mine, stolen, as everything I do is. And if you look at the 5 people closest to you in your life, Dr. Taylor, we talked about this, right? If you look at the 5 people closest to you in life, on average, that is a direct reflection of who you are. So if you surround yourself with 5 Samford people, right? 5 people that are faith-driven, hardworking, love education, and a desire to compete for championships, that's exactly what you're going to be, and that's who I want to be. I want to talk about the vision that I have for this program, for Samford women's basketball. We are going to be driven by love and relationships. I'm a big believer that they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? Coach Diamond used to talk about players crave to be loved, appreciated, and accepted for who they truly are. And that's how I want it to be here. And if any of you else are, personality test nerds like me, I'm an Enneagram 2, so we got to go off of the love and relationships. I want us to invest in growth and development. Preparation equals confidence. I want us to put in the work. We're going to put in the work, recruiting, game planning. We're going to put in the work on the court, in the classroom, in the community. We're going to grow and develop in every single aspects of our lives. And part of that is when you are growing in those things, it's about growing in the small things, right? I believe that we don't rise to the moment. We don't rise to the level of our hopes and dreams. We fall to the level of our habits, right? Our disciplines, the way we train, that's who we're going to become, is the small decisions we make every single day. And then we're going to compete. We're going to compete for championships. We're not going to get nervous about saying that. We're not going to try to, tiptoe around it. That's what this place is about, and that's what we want to be about. When you come to our games, when you come to a Samford women's basketball game, I hope that you can hear with your ears our intelligence. I want you to hear how intelligent we are. I don't want you to hear us talking. I want you to hear us communicating. Player to player, player to coach, coach to coach, coach to player. I want you to hear the communication, right? The connection and how intelligent it is. I want you to see with your eyes how tough we are. I want you to witness how tough we play. I want you to watch the charges we take. I want you to see the 80-20 balls that we go get. Most people say 50-50 balls, but 50% is not good enough. We're going to go get 80 of them. 80-20 balls, taking charges. And above those things, what I want you to witness when you watch these women play, I want you to see the toughness of confidence. I don't want to see tiptoeing. I've told all these players as we've communicated, I don't want them looking over their shoulder at me. I want them flying by me and giving me a high five on their way down the floor. I want to play with utmost confidence and belief when doubt sets in, right? I want them to choose to be brave, and that's tough to me. And then I want you to both hear and see our connectedness. I want you to see players that have a true joy in one another's success, right? A true vicarious joy in one another's success. That's what we want to be about. To wrap it up, I get it. Culture is the most overly used word in coaching. I know, but it's used for a reason. Shaka Smart's definition of it's the way we act, interact, and react in everything we do. I think is the perfect description for it. And I promise that I'm going to hold the culture to the standard that it requires. That's my job, and that's what I promise to do. We Zoomed last weekend with every single player on the roster, our signed freshmen, transfer, everybody, our committed kids. And I told them I have 2 goals for us every year. Number 1, I want us to cut down nets. But number 2, when that last game ends, when that last loss happens, whenever it might happen, I want them to have to physically pry us from the locker room, because we are refusing to let that be our last moment together. I want that level of connection and care and heart behind this program. I thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to get to work. Go Bulldogs.